Officially bringing Jesus to the track. The great I am is officially bringing Jesus to the track. The great I am is officially bringing Jesus to the track. He's officially bringing the great I am. Is officially bringing Jesus to the track. The great I am is officially bringing Jesus. bringing Jesus to the trap!
Merry Christmas. It's still on. Happy New Year. It's coming. 2022. What are we going to do? I'm going to tell you what this guy's going to do. I'm going to have a bunch of redonkulous fun like I did last night. Tonight is Center of Light after party. Uniquely the same. So last night, myself, a few beautiful souls who submitted questions. By the way, those who I have read or you have read your questions, I owe you what I said I would do in the beginning. I'm going to give away some gifts. That's what I love doing. We all do. It's more fun to give gifts than it is to receive at this age, whatever age you are. But we're in the golden age. Hello, Carmen de Shasha, KK, Rena, Robert, Dana. I'm gonna go through the list. You deserve it. I deserve to know you here by announcing your beautiful sacred name. Last night I did the interview with Swamiji, the guru and the disciple. A few beautiful siblings came on board and asked their questions. Today, last night, I feel all giddy and stuff. I do. And so does everyone else who participated. Something like this has never happened before. Yes, many people in many different arenas or radio shows, they interview divine beings. I get that. I'm not trying to make this more special. I'm trying to reveal the significance of such a thing. That literally myself, a few others, we all do. We're going to do this again. But it's significant in the sense that the being, I'm not going to say person, the being that we were able to be in the presence of, darshan, blessing of a holy man, is the it. It's the master of the quantum mechanical field. It's the master of the magnetic field. So this 3-part series is going to be coming soon. You won't miss anything. You will be there because there is here Swamiji's eternal, his consciousness and where he resides within himself. So no matter, even if you watch it after the fact from last night, you're going to get the same bang, literally, light bang for your no buck. So, Sairam Anjana, my sister Anjana was the translator and supporter and co-creator, and she hates it when I do this, but hi Anjana. I became a beautiful mess. I've shifted last night. This is not about me. I want to know more about you, but right now I want to share with you this joy that you can see illumine all over my face, all over my place, my apartment, and my space, that which I'm coming from within. Something changed in me last night. The most simplest ideas. We all know, I know, but for whatever reason, the way it was delivered, it delivered me. So tonight is Center of Light after party. I don't know whether to call it after party glow or after glow party. So I said after party. Something Swamiji said last night was, we are all uniquely the same. Hello, Snowflake. Hello, fingerprint. So basically, we are a bunch of snowflakes and fingerprints floating about aloft, fluttering down, and leaving our stamp wherever we go. That's what we are. No more, no less, but yet, even more so, when I get into the thick of this presentation, at least for me, oh my God, I learned something last night. And I don't mean I learned something. I learned something. By the same stuff we all know, at least it did a number on me. And a number of a few of the people that were there last night. In fact, all of them. In fact, they left me testimonies. Not this is a prove the divinity. That's not what this testimonial thing is about. It's about them saying, oh my God, I felt a shift in my being by simply being in the presence, not necessarily Swamiji, but yet the trigger, I felt my own presence by looking in a mirror that is a little bit more clearer than mine. And then when something this pure and this clear looks into your eyes and looks into your soul, something else happens. You see the reflection in yourself, which happens to look just like Swamiji himself, itself, which is like this. That transpired for me last night. We're going to get to some more deliciousness of that here shortly. 2022 is here. It's not coming. It's here. It's a precipice. We're here. In fact, we're walking up to the door and we're about to grab the knockers on the ancient door and go bang, bang, bang of the year 2022 of our Lord Jesus Christ. Merry Christmas. You see, there's only one source of power. Swamiji last night kept using the word power, and he was pushing into it. Power. One power. There's only one power. And he stayed with it. And he put some mayonnaise on that sandwich. And I ate it. And I even asked for another. Internally, I did. It's good to see you, Center of Light. We're going to be right back tonight as Center of Light, uniquely the same. Let's see what we're going to do for a break so I can shift. I literally use these intervals, these segues to fall into a new space. This is hello, get my, believe it or not, I've been doing this kind of stuff for incarnations, if you will, to make a joke. But when I sit down live in this way, I get on a microphone on stage, I am ready to go. This, it takes me a few twists and turns to fall into the desired space so I can be with you and you with me in the way that I do what I love to do as to why I do it all the time. Also, before I do that, supporting, not that I'm supporting Swamiji as if, meaning echoing his idea on his thought, the truth about power, divine power. I've been sleeping with these organites under my pillow. Thank you, those. My apologies. I know that you know who you are. These are power generators. So, welcome. I love you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa. We're in for a very serious ride real soon. Lavender Soul, my spiritual original band. This is a song you may have heard maybe once and you probably don't remember. It's called 2B1. 2B1.
making one of 100 million pieces, making one of each and every heart, giving one love like you really mean it, seeing one in each other every day. Loving one is how to get to heaven. Sharing one, the love that you are. Hearing one, that little voice inside. Being one with all the people. Teaching one all the children about love. Lives to make a difference, caring for one who really needs a friend, opening one to truth that they see, lifting one to dwell in the kingdom, dwell in the sending one only thoughts of happiness, receiving one love that's your gift. Think as one ends the separation. Being one saves the world. Teaching one all the children about love. Finding one your own peaceful heart. Causing one to feel peace too. And that's the way.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight is full of delight, power, and might. Happy holidays to you. There is magic, divine magic afoot, I tell you. I ain't here to sell you anything except a book or two. It's how I support myself in doing what I love to do. And what I love to do most is you, and me, and we. Tonight is Center of Light after party. My interview, our interview with Swamiji last night, God on Earth. Sounds strange, but even in just your simple possibility and pondering over such thing, what is it worth? That's worth everything to me. Someone told me they were jogging yesterday and they stubbed their toe on a rock. They looked at the rock, and there was a magic button, a magic chicken nugget. I'm gonna go look. Not because I don't believe, to disprove. I hope there's another one so I can have it. So last night, our time with Swamiji, which I'm going to be revealing soon, a 3-part series. Robert, thank you, sir. So do I. 3-part series of Part 1, the Guru and the Disciple. Usually when I speak with Swamiji, it's questions about the welfare of humanity, as it should always be. But he loosened up the reins a little bit and immediately granted an interview about Keith Anthony Blanchard, Yanavah's insatiable curiosity as an aspiring mystic. Anjana called Swamiji or sent a letter, and before she said the rest of the sentence, she said, Keith would like to. He said, yes. And so, thank you, Anjana, and it ensued from there. It's almost 2 hours long, so I'm going to make it into a 3-part series. I will be announcing that soon. So last night, let's get into the meat and potatoes, the Christmas holiday, New Year's dinner. Tonight's presentation. I became a little child last night. Curious, wonderment, awe. I was floating in a beautiful dream that I never wanted to come back from, but I knew I had to. So it made me even more ever present in that moment. Know that it was a fleeting moment that was not going to last just yet. And that was all purposeful. It gave me a taste. It was a temptation, actually. You want to see what this looks like? It looks like this. I was able to touch the garment, as I've used this phrase a few times. Touch the garment. I'm on my knees, I'm touching it. Because it may be pretty or not so pretty, might not be my favorite color. I'm touching it for the significance it has. It's beyond even this level, this word, these words, this world. I can't begin, and those who were, and in the future will be affected. I'm assuming. If you're open, if you're an empath, or just open to possibility, you will have an experience. I did. Still am. And this very simple, childlike, divine wisdom, for sure, not manner, came the staple, the basis, the crux of the universe itself. I saw this on many levels, even though he used words to try to convey that to me. Something else was taking place. I lost my footing in reality, what I thought was reality. Satya Sai Baba, the same power that lived in Jesus, lives in Jesus and Sai Baba and Swamiji and Buddha and Krishna, all that. Is present. God never leaves the earth, never. Will never abandon his children. So let's get into tonight's presentation. Here we go. From my time with Swamiji last night, Darshan with His Holiness, Bhagavan Sri 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 Viswayogi Viswamiji Maharaj, last night he said, and it moved me, really moved me. His voice is very high-pitched and very tenor, but there is a level of body there and the wisdom that's just, it speaks on many different levels. The body is the temple of the Lord. The heart is the altar. Last night, Anjana and I had a few talking sessions about the order of questions and the questions we were going to select and such. Something happened, excuse me, and even Anjana doesn't know this. We had a phone call today about catching up, and some of the things that we exchanged and how we felt and how we thought and all that beautiful, delicious stuff. So everyone, Anjana, he answered 2 of my questions. This is not sort of. This is Sai Baba kind of play, Jesus kind of play. Excuse me. He answered 2 of my questions before I asked them. The first one, I got many notes and they're very small. The first one was, Dana asked a question about, do we choose our parents and family when we reincarnate? And he answered her and went on to say, don't worry. He answered her question that she asked about, do we choose our own family and parents during the reincarnation? And then he continued, and he says, as he continued in his blessing, it led to him saying, don't worry about the afterlife. Don't be concerned about what happens then. When my next question that I was going to ask for me was, what happens when we cross over and thereafter? That was one scenario that happened for me. And the other was when Dolores asked her question about the life of Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus Christ. That was his Jewish name, Yeshua ben Joseph, the son of Joseph. She says there are so many stories floating around culture, media, social media, internet, about the life of Jesus. Some say that it is as told. The cross was there, and that was it. Done. He resurrected. And then some believe that he lived on and went to Kashmir. But she didn't say Kashmir. She said there's just so many timelines, which is true. And he said, don't concern yourself with that. Jesus did not die. This is coming from the Christ principle itself, which Jesus was the Christ principle. So basically, this is Swamiji, this finger, and Jesus is his finger. They're on the same hand, hanging out with each other, kind of thing. And he said, Jesus did not die. Never kid yourself. Jesus did not die. Well, people will say, well, he did die, then he arose. Jesus did not die. The Christ cannot die. The Christ is forever. It will never end. That's when the Holy Spirit descended as a dove into Jesus during baptism. The Christ cannot die. But we see it as such in this sort of way. I understand that. But he's going in, out, and above, and over the top to reassure us, you can and will never die. So the answer, when he was answering Dolores, he says, so don't get caught up that Jesus went to Kashmir. She didn't ask anything about Kashmir. My very next question was, many people believe that Osho Rajneesh was an avatar on earth. If this is true, he said Jesus did not die on the cross, that he was taken down from the cross and placed into a tomb, blah, 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 healed himself after he got better, and lived a life of 112 years in Kashmir. He already answered my second question. I've seen this Leela, which translates into divine sport or play. God has a sense of humor. He will play on you like it ain't nobody's business. But you don't know it's him. You think it's everybody else around you doing it. That's why he gets upset at everybody else around you as the ones you think are doing it, because you can see them. But it's all moved by the finger of Creator. Swamiji, Jesus, Buddha, the avatars. So what is the point? So Anjana speaks, so I listen, because she is able, even though Swamiji does speak English, but it's hard, it's broken. He's from Telugu, however you pronounce it. Forgive me. She is the bridge. She says, remember what I told you? he had told Ram, her husband, many years ago, Anjana, I'm so in the fire right now. Please remind me. Please post it. Robert says, I am right there on the same page. Good for you, my brother. So I lost my space. I'm very flighty right now. Let me look at my notes, but I do have something I want to bring forth. So last night, being in the presence of absolute presence, what I saw in Swamiji, for those who don't know or those just joining, I want to do this in the right order. This is Swamiji, dead in the center. No, excuse me. That's an expression. Alive, fully alive in the center, and myself next to Swamiji. This was an interview that took place last night. And it reminded me so much of something I read by Sathya Sai Baba, which is, when I am in the presence of men, I am a man. When I am in the presence of women, I am a woman. When I am in the presence of children, I'm a child. And when I am by myself, I am God. I felt that from soul to bones last night. I have an Anjana, at least I hope she vouches. I think we had that conversation today. I have never seen him like that. I've been knowing, blessed for 8, give or take, years. He's always Swamiji in his beautiful, graceful glory. But he became what I just described. He always really sits, and he may move a little bit and use his hands, but he was getting off of his chair. He was firing up. That's why it affected everyone in the room. Anjani even said his hair was beginning to glow, there's always light phenomenon in Swamiji. So as this began to take place, I saw a new place inside of myself because I've never seen that space in Swamiji himself. It got me giddy. Let's move forward. I got a lot. When I was mentioning earlier these medallions or these pendants, whatever you like to call them, this organite, that I've been sleeping with them under my pillow because they are power generators. One phrase Swamiji kept using last night was power, 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 power. It's all power. It's right there. Everything is power. And the smallest of things that can possibly be is the greatest source of infinite absolute power. And he says it's actually not even a point. It's not a point. Like, here's the point where absolute power is. There are infinite points. So that's the point, actually. In any given moment, any given time, any given space, any given place, anything you can possibly imagine that exists is infinite power. He laid on this theme all night long, lovingly, childlikely, sincerely, passionately, supportingly. So what I left from a marathon I was going on a little earlier is, what is the purpose of a guru? I understand the new movement. The one we have been looking for is ourself. I love it. It is absolutely the absolute truth. We are our own savior. That is the absolute truth. And even under that understanding, though you may not have a per se selected guru, even though you may have come from a Christian background, you might have some Jesus history or a Buddhist background, and you have some Buddha, and so forth and so on. The purpose of a guru, whether you invite him into your conscious space or not, they are there as pillars of light to bring you into their magnetic field. Guru is the connecting point, and it doesn't have to look like a person. We say guru and it looks like, Sadhguru or Swamiji or even Jesus. That's not necessarily what guru means. It's very much deeper than that. Anjana says guru, remover of darkness in Sanskrit. So gurus are connecting points of the power grid, of the I am grid, of the entire infrastructure of the universe. They are masters of the magnetic field. They are masters of the quantum mechanical field. Guru is the connecting point that allows one to go into higher states. Everyone is in Guru's magnetic field. No matter who the guru that is nearest you, on that as a finger on the hand, you are in their magnetic field. And the people you care for, they are in your magnetic field of the guru's magnetic field that you are in. The advantage of following the guru is all that can happen happens faster and consciously. It's actually the only way one can climb, by connecting to higher power sources. So whether you follow Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Mother Teresa, Sai Ma, Anandamayi Ma, your grandma and your grandpa, it doesn't matter. Love is an all-inclusive, ever-generating magnetic field. Anjana says God appears as guru when you are ready to receive the knowledge. Same as the Buddhist teaching. What is, whenever the student is ready, the teacher shows up. After many births of self-purification. So you see, like in the Moses story, they cannot cross the river Jordan until all the nuisance and nonsense, as Swamiji would say, is gone. You cannot bring any cancer, emotional cancer, mental cancer, physical cancer, spiritual cancer, into the kingdom of absolute forever. You can't do it. In fact, it's not that you can't do it because they won't let you in. It's impossible. Because the system, your system, our system, any system that has any darkness in it simply gets shattered by the light. So it can never happen, because you bring a flashlight, a pin flashlight, into a dark room, the darkness just simply scatters. So there is pure light, less pure light, not to say less, but in gradations all the way to the dark spectrum. But that's only as we know it. That's all we can handle and tough out until we become illumined in such a way that we become connected consciously to the guru. The pivotal point that brings in higher archetype crescendos into the waves of divine consciousness. This is what these avatars have, are, and will forever come to do. Continuing on, tonight is Center of Light, after party. We are all uniquely the same. Snowflake fingerprint. Some of the people that were there last night, let me move through this. All is one. And this is not just a concept. This goes into Melinda's beautiful question to Swamiji. All is one. All is one. There is only one current. There is only one power. The fact that you can hear me takes power to be able to be alive, to be able to hear me. The fact that I can speak it when you speak to others, and vice versa. You are God. This is my summation. Which I've always known, many of us always know. This is what triggered me last night and threw me into a divine blissful mess. All is one. We all know that. Many of us say, I get it. We're all one. I've always known that. But last night, it did a number on me. Swamiji speaks on levels you can't even hear. All is one. You are God. That's it. Well, I'm not worthy. That's okay. But it doesn't take away from the truth. That anchored very deeply in me last night. In fact, I'm sitting here having a conversation with all of you, which is actually no one. It's just me entertaining myself. No disrespect. I shifted. It's not real. None of it. Except you and your experience of it. That's it. There's no other principle. There's no other spiritual truth except using methods, methodologies, theories, practices, sadhanas to move us into that place. When we look back in hindsight, That was an amazing ride at Disney World last week. And it's all purposeful. So enjoy the ride. Enjoy your time. Be grateful. Live and live fully. Because the game is over. And when you develop that level of trust to the grid and its points, the gurus, the Jesuses, the Buddhas, the Krishnas, the Swamjis, it's over. It's truly that easy. Keith, it's truly that easy. It took me a while to shift, so I'm, from this vantage point, saying it's truly that easy. And if you've shifted day before yesterday and you contact me, tell me what you're doing. I want to know. So now I want to get into the segment where I bring forth those who beautifully help Swamji, so I could see something different. Play like a child in a sandbox. First up is Melinda. This is her experience. She asked the question, Swamji, I know what oneness is. I know it. I know it in the form of a concept. But how to integrate that oneness into beingness, I don't yet know. And Swamji says, love everything. Don't care if anyone loves you, just love them. Love everything equally. Not that that's a flower, that's a bird, this is someone who pissed me off, this is someone I care for deeply. That is not your concern. So in other words, what I surmise from it, to integrate that very oneness of the question she posed is what I got. And when I say I got it for her, I got it for me, which is just love. Just be in a space of divine love. There's a beautiful palm tree. Oh my God, there's a beautiful palm tree. It gives me coconuts. Oh my God, there's a beautiful mountain. This kind of passion, sincerity, humility, and vulnerability is what begins the integration, amalgamation, solidification process of that oneness consciousness. I had a sliver of that beautiful holiday cheesecake last night. Moving on to the next person, Dana says, when we reincarnate, do we choose our family or body when we go into it? So I read that a little earlier about how that correlated with something Swamji answered without even me asking the question. This is Dana's sharing with me of how it felt to be her last night. I have to tell you, last night when I was listening to Swamji, I had a weird, beautiful experience, I'm assuming. I'm very empathetic. And I was wondering if that's why I immediately went into a state of bliss and meditation. I could not control it. I felt that sleepiness that that you get when you go into deep meditation. It was so strange, it freaked me out. Moving on to my beautiful sister, Rena, she asks Swamji, I would like to know if animals have souls, and do they go to the same place we go when we die, or do they go to a different realm? And Swamji's response sounded repetitious because it's all encompassing. It was basically the same answer. There is nothing else. It's all from one divine power source. So if we think we're humans and we're so special that we need to wonder, well, is anyone else going to go to heaven when we go? He helped me see that so clearly, that it's just one power source. Why wouldn't all forms of consciousness go back to its natural soul, essential self to say, wow, I'm flying through wormholes again. Wow, I'm watching a galactic cluster of stars being born. It's all the same interplay of consciousness. So yes, all animals have souls. Plants have souls. You know, that piece of cabbage you ate yesterday may say, hey, do you remember me? Who knows? It's all of the same influx in divine sport and play, Leela. that turns within itself. I got jiggy last night. Continue on. Robert Harrison. Oh, and also Rena and Melinda said, thank you, Keith, today. Thank you, girls. Rena and Melinda said, thank you, Keith. It was the best Christmas presents they have ever received. Thank you for making it mine as well, ladies. Robert Harrison says, you know that Swamji said he has been talking to me, and I said, yes, I am hearing you. So Robert had his time with Swamji last night in saying, I've been talking to you and hearing you. And Swamji said, yes, I know. And Swamji went on for a while with Robert. And so Robert, being a mystic himself, I can see that there is a definite relationship between Robert and Swamji. Robert's question, this is the question how he posed it to me versus how he posed it to Swamji, but it's still paraphrased and they do shake hands. So the idea of Robert's question is, will all that is conscious continue to change until all becomes the same? So tonight's presentation is, I love it, uniquely the same. So will consciousness flip-flop, turn within itself, and continue to expand and unfold and unfurl itself until it's not only just divine consciousness, while some people are getting closer and closer and closer, till the day comes to where it's this effulgent enfoldment of consciousness. That would be heaven on earth being the way showers to illuminate the planetary systems, the galactic systems, the cosmic systems, the universal systems. And then God begins to turn within itself with the breath of So, the in-breath of So, and the out-breath of Ham. So, Ham. Swamji even said last night, the universe is disappearing. Meaning, the universe, not only as we know it, I don't know if I know this for sure, but it makes the point that even almost as if avatars don't even know it themselves. They know that the universe is disappearing, it's ever expanding, and it's going to be turning within itself and belching out in a positive way, regurgitating, expressing a new expression. You can bet all the avatars are going to be the first to know of the glory and the story, and then through the pivot points, the I am connected collective grid, the guru points, Jesus, Swamji, Sai Baba, Krishna, Ananda Ma, then the energy is going to flood the system. This could be billions of years from now. You see, God is eternal. God is not in a hurry. God loves to play, and he loves playing with you. And last night, many of us, in the very near future, many of you will have the same which you're due to play with the divine. This is the time. I will see you shortly.
I will be with you always, until the end of time. You will never be alone. I am.
I feel you there beside me. All of my lives, all through my days, I've seen places far away. Wondering just where, time and again, I have come to know you. Wondering just where, time and again,
defined every moment by your own perceptions, your judgments, actions. Peace is a state of mind. Bliss is a state of heart. Heaven is a state of being.
Deep in my heart, I know you're there. I can always feel you guiding my life to see the light that will lead me to the truth. When I create, when I feel love, whenever I feel you with me, I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. For you are my mother,
My soul.
my divine lover. I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. Help me live.
Welcome back to Center of Light on this beautiful holiday night. Tonight has been Center of Light after party, afterglow, after party glow. Uniquely the same. Fingerprints, snowflakes, this thumbnail. It all comes from the divine source of light, the rainbow, the promise, right? And in this light spectrum, at least for the bandwidth that we are able to see, in the ultraviolet and the infrared, we cannot really, until we develop vision to be able to see, it simply manifests into a beautiful possibility. I overlaid this crystal multicolored ball with light fractals and this beautiful idea of a flower kind of image. It's all the same. You're it. There's nothing else. I understand we have to live practically and move through this world. But at least we can carry within our consciousness, our being, our heart, our steps, the truth, the absolute truth. It's just you. You're by yourself. And we use these gurus, people before us, people higher than us, higher. Humility opens the door so we can move higher ourselves. The stepping stones. Last night, after my time with Swamiji, my experience, I was drunk, completely drunk. I didn't know how to be. I was giddy. I was moving around. You see me sitting in my chair. I was love drunk. I was drunk on God, on the divine, on curiosity and wonderment and awe. When I went to sleep last night, Om Sri Saram Guru Deva Datta, Om Sri Saram Guru Deva Datta, Om Sri Saram Guru Deva Datta, until I went unconscious, only simply to become conscious. Standing on a battlefield, no joke, not a metaphorical battlefield, a battlefield, with Swamiji standing next to me. He looked like himself, but he didn't. And my arm, which arm, it doesn't matter, I'm going to say this one. This arm was hit with a sword, very sharp sword, in battlefield. And my arm just sliced right open to the bone. And then the battle ensued. And then when it was time to look at some of the people who were wounded, I was one of the wounded. Wounded? That may be metaphorical for sure. And I said, I'm okay. They said, Keith, that wasn't my name, but Keith, your arm's sliced wide open. And I said, it doesn't matter. They said, what do you mean it doesn't matter? And I felt such gratitude that my arm was sliced wide open. It really didn't matter to me. It didn't. I was grateful for that slice over my arm. And then I moved through quite a few different timelines with Swamiji. You may call them past lives, other lives, future lives. There is no past, other, and future. It's all right here. The smallest component there is beyond quark. Anjana, maybe you can help me. Last night, Swamiji said something about the smallest component there is. We, in science, at least I, through my ventures in science, at least one of the smallest components of matter is called a quark, which is a bunch of information, tiny itsy bits of matter, and then it's all empty space. But he said something else, like about a banyan tree. Don't remember what that was. But I went through these different timelines with Swamiji, and they had to deal with war and battle, and I was never afraid. That metaphorically could have been, I am your pillar, not Swamiji necessarily. Your great-grandmother, your child who died and you believe is watching over you. It doesn't matter. That which is all-powerful and forever, and it's a beautiful possibility that lives in all of us. And we paint these pictures of how it is. But I had the chance last night to see how it is. More so. Which is, through all these lifetimes of warring and physical battle, and warring with myself, and warring with others, it's futile. It cuts like a sword. And all these wars and timelines I was shown last night, my reward was that it's simply about life. Ongoing, ever flowing, ever powerful, ever knowing, and ever showing itself in the way that we must follow. I even asked the question of Swamiji last night. I said, we make it more difficult than it really is. He said, that's 90 whatever percent, he said, of humanity's downfall. It's easy. There's nothing except everything. And that everything is you. Isn't that something? I play with words is so they can tickle you. Get out of the fickle you. I'm starting to integrate these principles. Many of you, Robert, Rena, I only know these people by association. Anjana, all of you. So for those who are new when you come into this presentation, hello, David Parks on YouTube. There is nothing that has ever been, is now, or can ever be more sacred than you. When we use this rope ladder to hoist ourselves, to lift ourselves to higher plateaus, it's over. Sister Anjana. So all the energy in the universe is present as small as, oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to ask her. She didn't. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. We talked about the smallest components in the universe. Swamiji said, so all the energy in the universe is present as small as a small dot bindu, whatever that means, dot bindu. The banyan tree is a huge tree. The entire tree is present in a seed. When seed germinates, the huge tree emerges slowly. Similarly, this entire universal energy is inside us. Guru helps us to realize that energy is inside of us. So it's analogous. So in the smallest of, here you go. In every seed, there is potential for infinite force. Seed drops from an oak tree. One seed is the infinite potential of infinity. So every cell in your body, everything in everybody, even people who live in cells, is God's infinite power waiting to be recognized, and in so doing, it can be harnessed. But you cannot monopolize it. You cannot monopolize it. But you will know that if we allow it, it will monopolize us. Because now we're in the conscious moving river of forever and ever. and ever. That's the garden. That's the sacred space. That's the sacred heart. That's the cave of samadhi. That's only for the brave. It sounds delicious, Keith. I want some of that. So now it comes down to, what do we feel we are worth? I'm not used to this way of taking things in. That's okay. Use what you know that makes you feel like you win, and stay in it. It's the same game. Anjana says, you can only connect to that energy, that power source. That's called yoga. And yoga does not necessarily mean all these positions, but these positions help us to position ourselves, because it's those guru points, if you will. It opens up the chakras where these points of power allow shakti, which is power, through the gates, so we're able, as children of God who are wanting to be illumined, or disciples, yogis ourselves, to receive the grace from the guru, the higher ups, if you will. Let me look at my notes real quick, see if there's anything I have not covered. So I'm going to read you a small segment from Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my new book. This does absolutely parallel and correlate with Swamji's message last night. A 3-part series that is coming soon, which is The Guru and the Disciple. Stay tuned. This is dialogue from that book I just showed you, written in late 1900s. I ain't that old. 1998, give or take. And Swamji's message last night really hit on over and over and over. Power, power. Power's in every moment. Power's in every particle. Infinite power. There's no place it is not. There's not like there's a PowerPoint here and a PowerPoint there. It's a whole line of power. But there are certain points in the grid that are anchors that say, 3D tower, TV tower, cell phone tower. This is where the transmission, the shakti pot of energy becomes transmitted. So from my book, Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, what Spirit says is, what you have not yet realized is that your fear does not protect you. It disconnects us from the power. What it does is complicate the very scenarios you're efforting to simplify. You think that being afraid keeps you out of harm's way in a crisis, but what it does is throw you directly into its path, where you must repeat the lesson no matter how long it takes. So this is along the lines of Dana's question. So tell me, is reincarnation real? And if it is fear the reason I've had to do it so many times? Spirit responds, yes, Keith, according to universal law, all actions spawned from a fearful place must come back around for review and resolution. If you do not clear your present self, the one that has the awareness and the capacity to be in touch with the power grid all the time, if you do not clear your present self of past problems, you will be reborn again and again until you resolve them. The thing I must tell you about reincarnation is that it both does and does not exist. When scripture speaks of the beginning and the end, it is to accommodate your current frame of reference. Its concepts have to be conveyed in this way because at this point, you're only mindful of a linear timeline and cannot easily conceive of eternity. What? And I say, that's a tough one to fathom, all right. Spirit says, well, Keith, try it now. Take a few moments and meditate on eternity. When you're done, open your eyes. Okay, I'm done. Tell me, Keith, how many souls do you think there are? And I say, and Spirit says, take your time before you answer. Think about what you just experienced during your meditation. There's only one, but it has many facets. Yes, and in eternity, those facets are facets of the one universal soul live all at once. Jesus, Swamiji, Buddha, Krishna, Anandamayi Ma, you, me, your grandma, your grandpa. So really all there is you, God. But your consciousness must flip-flop around and through the time-space continuum, as I did last night, until you remember that. Keith, many of you and all of you have lived many lifetimes only to find yourself here now. Although you have lived in many different forms, none of them is what you are. For what you are is the spirit that has lived, lives, and will live forever. So what I surmise, not only because of my intelligence, but my intelligence allows me to open up a deeper safe because I feel safe, because there are jewels and treasures of gold in this safe, the golden path, the golden gate. I am knocking. Dear Jesus, let me in. You want to win? Follow this suit. The gate is open. There's only one God. And if we all believe that, and God is omnipresent, there's nothing that it is not, except one thing, and it even doesn't even exist. It's fear. We remove our fear from the equation. We see, I was blind, but now I see. Insecurity, jealousy, inferiority complex, all these things. But these things, as negative as they seem to be, they are actually the most beautiful possibility of becoming that very student, that aspirant, that yogi that climbs those stairs, the stairway to heaven. God's grace is everywhere, even in those negative qualities, the insecurity, the jealousy, the inferiority complex, the anger. These are all stepping stones, which is extended grace by God itself saying, okay, you're not in this place yet, so you're in trouble. So I'm going to throw you some spiritual nuggets or some spiritual bones. But we're living in the most amazing time, not in human history or earthly history, divine history, if there is such a thing, cosmic history. The universal gaze is on us, on every possible sentient level. Everyone wants a piece of this angel food cake. For goodness sake, take advantage of this time in your life. So what do I need to do to achieve that? Nothing. Open your eyes. See. Open your heart. Feel. Open yourself. Be. That's the deal. Just be. See. Take it in. Express yourself. Take it all in. Chew on it for a little while. Think. Process lovingly. Express. Be yourself. Confess to yourself what it is you want. Be real with that. And reality will soon set itself in your heart. And all the Swamijis and Jesuses and Buddhas and Krishnas and Anandamayi Ma's, you will realize it's you. You are what you're looking for. Stop looking. Be it. I love you.